Hello everybody, what's up? How's it going? This is week 1 of Machine Learning Mondays. How's it going? This is week... Oh, I had my stream pulled up. Hello, my name is Kyle Dampier. I'm an engineer at the University of Florida. My major is computer science. If you guys have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask. Hey, what's up, Cole? How's it going? As you can see, if you're in the chat, if you type in the chat, you can go on here and you have to subscribe, I believe, to chat. I think I made that a thing. But yes, so I'm gonna wait till 6:30. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Can't wait to teach you guys some machine learning. So, who here's used Python before? Anybody? Huh? Anybody? All right, I'll take that as a no. All right, good answers. Let's go. Let's see, what time is it? 6:28. All right, so let me start introducing myself. Oh, nice, Cole. Used it before, huh? What have you used it for? What type of stuff? Well, all right, let's just get right into it. Hello, my name is Kyle Dampier. I'm a junior at the University of Florida. Ooh, parsing files. That's great. I've done files and stuff before too. Love it. Hello, Misty. Welcome. Subscribe to become a GAITOR, and it should show up on the stream as well when you subscribe. You see the latest subscriber. So what time is it? 6:28. All right. So, how's it going, guys? I hope you had a great day today. I had a great day today. I woke up and I took a nap. Love me some naps. Naps are the best. But, all right, let's see where we at. 6:29. Let's just wait till 6:28. I'm here a little bit early to, rate the nap. Oh, it was a solid 8, man. I got up and worked out. Went and got a nice nap afterwards. It was beautiful. Oh, love it. 6:29. Oh, counting down. Not gonna lie, this is the first time I've done something like this. A little nervous. So if you guys have any suggestions of how I can improve this, please let me know. This is for you guys. Of course, I'm not doing this for myself. I'm doing it to help democratize AI, which is the goal of the club. I wish I could nap. I never fall asleep once I'm awake. That's fair. Heavy sleeper. All right, 6:30. All right, let's go. Hello, my name is Kyle Dampier. I'm a junior at the University of Florida. I'm a computer science major in the Herbert Wertheim School of Engineering. And so why am I able to see this? Shubika Aguar Wall. Sorry if I butchered that name. I probably did. But thank you for subscribing. I am a junior at the University of Florida right now, and when in high school, I worked as a software engineer for a password reset company. And after high school, I did research for the Florida Institute of Cybersecurity here at UF as a junior, or as a freshman in software up until my junior year. And now I'm doing... Last semester, I created a website for the UF football team, doing data science stuff, and I'm excited to teach you guys how to get into it. So, first off, let's go straight into the meat of it. Here's our website. It's thegaitorclub.com. If you want to see all of our events coming up, There's a calendar up here for you guys to see. You can see all of our teams. I would love it if you guys joined one of those and use the skills you learned here. And here's our student board and our advisory board. All great people. All these people are great people. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask me or anybody here. Okay, so let's get started. So if you go to the YouTube video, I have a bunch of links down here. The first one is Google Colab, right? You're gonna go to that first link, and I would suggest that you be like this guy and have like a bunch of monitors and stuff, because I'm probably gonna be doing this pretty fast. If you don't, I would just suggest watching it, and then when I post Recording Wednesday, which by the way, I'm gonna post a recording of it Wednesday and cut out all the stuff that isn't really needed, like the Q&A after me pausing or messing up, all that jazz. But once you're here, you're going to be in the Recent tab. You want to go to the GitHub tab and take this second link that's on the YouTube video and copy that into this text box right here. And now you have you want to select main, and you want to select week 1. So this is already filled out, so you guys can follow along. But I'm going to start. So first off, let's talk about Python. Python is a high-level programming language, which means that it's built on another programming language. And it is a scripted or interpreted language, which means that it goes line by line in a linear progression, which means that something like C++ is run, and so it like runs the main, but in Python it just runs stuff line by line. It is dynamically typed, which means that things like a sort of integer, we'll talk about that later, and it is object oriented, which we'll talk about later as well. This is how to open up the notebook in Visual Studio Code. However, we open it up in Google Colab, but if you want, feel free to install it on your own device. The reason I use Google Colab is because it's really easy to use. If you are brand new to Python or programming, I would suggest watching this YouTube video. It's got great reviews, or download this textbook from Dr. Silva, and that will be a great resource for you guys if you guys want to see anything about Python. So let's start with defining variables. So all you have to do in Python is just take the variable, make it equal to an integer, and that's it. The type in Python is inferred, which means it's dynamically typed, and no real issues there. Hopefully you guys get that. And there's 3 main types of numbers in Python. One we don't really use just because it's too complex, like the pun. John Newman, John, thank you for subscribing. I love it. Oh wait, let me talk about why Python. So in Python is becoming more and more popular as the days go on. As you can see, as you can see, there's Python developers make on average $123,000 a year, and they have the second most job openings. And companies like Facebook, Netflix, Instagram, Google, NASA, YouTube, Dropbox, all these people all use Python, and they develop using Python. So I think it's a great resource, and everybody should learn it, especially if you want to get into programming. So now that I've kind of gone off the rails here, let's go back to these types of numbers. So when you define these numbers, the type, or when you define something in Python, the type is inferred, which basically just means like you don't have to declare what type it is. If you've used any other programming language like C++, you have to say int a is equal to 0, but not in Python. Python just knows that 0 is a number. You can delete any variables, and if you want to see variables that are currently in your system, you can see over here on this tab right here all the variables you have access to. but I'm going to close that. So another type in Python is strings. Strings, you can basically just go in here. You can go in here, create a string. You can use double quotes, or you can use single quotes. It's the same thing in Python. And to access stuff in Python, so if I wanted to get the first letter, so arrays start at 0, just like any other real programming language, and if you want to like get the first part of this string, you just say get 0, right? But if you wanted to get the last one, you do -1. That means that basically it just gets the last index. So if you were to do -2, it would give you 2. If you were to do -3, it'd give you 1, etc. This in Python basically means you're gonna include A, which is the first one, 0, and you're going to go all the way up to 3, but not including 3. So this is inclusive. The second one is exclusive. Now this right here just gets the first. It starts at 0, and every 2 it repeats. So we just go 0 to 3, and every 2 it goes over. All right. So you can actually not. Hold on. Let's just go like this. You can actually not edit strings in Python, which is a weird error here. But basically, what you need to do is give the reason is because strings are constant in Python. So here, let's do this first challenge. So say my name is equal to Kyle Dampier, and I wanted to print out hello, my name is Kyle Dampier is what, and then if you wanted to add a variable at the end of this, name, then all you have to do is just say this, and you've added your string to the end of it. Now you could also do this into a variable, and if I were to print out, you can see it prints the same thing. Now in Jupyter Notebooks, to run something, I probably should have talked about this before, you basically run this, you either click this button or you can do Shift-Tab. If you guys want to see more shortcuts, there's a bunch of shortcuts up here, and then there's a bunch of shortcut things here on this website. I guess I'll go here real fast. Just a bunch of different shortcuts you guys can learn, which helps me a lot personally, but we don't have time for that, unfortunately. Now, so here now we're talking about sequences or lists, right? So a sequence in Python is basically a list that's right one after another, right? And you can access these lists very similarly to how you access the strings, right? So it's the same format. In fact, a string is just a list of characters where each character is just one character, essentially. So in Python, lists and strings have the same type of operations. So there's also something called a tuple. What a tuple does is it only allows you to have one of each. Wait, no. So a tuple allows you to not sort of edit one of these sort of indexes, I believe. And a reason you would use that is because it's a lot more faster. Character like A or B. And then at the end, we have a delete, right? So you can delete indexes in an array. You can pop, which just removes the last one, or you can use remove, which removes the first occurrence of whatever you put inside of here in this array. If what you have in there is not in there, it just returns a 0 and doesn't do anything, because Python's like that. So for our challenge, all we're going to do is just push a value into our array and print the array. Oh, need to run. So you'll see this error a lot. Unless you have run the cell before, you cannot run the cell after. Oh, shoot. It might be append. My bad. So at the end here, you can see that it was empty, but we appended 4. So let me change this. And we print this out, and now we have 2 4s in it. Because why is there 2 4s? Because, well, there's 2 4s inside of because we just appended 2 different 4s inside of the array, right? So now we want to remove the number we added, and we want to say we remove 4. Well, this will just remove the first index of 4. It won't remove all 4s. And now let's go to maps. Maps are basically a way to see, a map allows you to sort of access things based off a string or whatever object you really want in here, right? And then you can have whatever sort of object you want there. Nexus, thank you for subscribing. If I don't say your name, I'm sorry. Okay, let's go down to the next one. So to access these, it's very similar to an array. You just put in the key that you want, which this is a key, and this is a value. So all you have to do is just say the dictionary and then the key, and then that will return 20 in this case, right? So if I wanted to update Kyle, I would say like, okay. So if I wanted to update Kyle, I would just take the key and then sort of update it. So let's go to the challenge. For the challenge, I want you guys to add yourself inside of the thing. So I'm just going to add Nexus because he or she just subscribed. And I'm going to say you're 22, right? And now Nexus is inside of our variables. So again, if we wanted to see our variables, we just go into this side over here. We can see, where is it? Oh, ARR is, wait, no. D is a dictionary, which is a common type, and we will probably see that a lot later on. So here's something called a set. I wanted to teach you guys what a set is because sets are used oftentimes to represent columns inside of a data frame, which we will learn in the next lecture. And essentially, when, say I add like 2 2s, it doesn't add a second 2, which can be very useful because if you only want unique values, you can just create a set and loop through and not have repeating values, which is honestly very useful. Now that we've gotten to the challenge, let's say add a number to a set. So underscore set. So if I do x underscore set dot add 1, will that add anything? Data frames are goated, Cole, I agree, hands down. But essentially, what we want is 1 to not be added, because 1's already in here. Can you add different variable types to a set? Yes, you can. Well, I don't believe so. Let's try it out. Oh, you can. Look at that. Yeah, Python, since it's dynamically typed, every variable that, at least for Python, when we get into NumPy and Pandas, it won't allow you to have a different type, but everything that's Python will. So that's pretty useful to know. Nice question. AR, I appreciate it. So let's say add, then let's add again, I don't know, 4. So notice how 4 was not already in our list, so it gets added. Now let's talk about for loops. for loops in Python are not like normal programming languages. You have to have some sort of thing that you can do an iteration on. So here's this array that I created, or list, my bad. And for I in 0, 1, 2, all it's going to do is just print out this array, which works as expected. But if we wanted to say print on the same line, all we have to do in Python is change the end. So by default, the end is \n, which is like a new line character. It means it goes to the new line. But if we add n to space, we can reformat that. So let's talk about ranges. Ranges are something called a generator. They don't actually create anything inside of RAM, but instead they create a function that you can call with this variable, and it kind of just takes the x and sort of outputs a y. So there's nothing actually inside of memory that holds all these values. But if you were to do, say, let's add a code thing here, list range, and then let's do 3, we can see that it comes out as 0, 1, 2. But if we do just range, these are generators. You will see generators a lot. There are things like, let me go here. There are things like lambdas and maps and stuff that we're going to use in Python that are generators, not much better than printing out like 1. Yes, I agree. Very much better. But stuff like maps and stuff like dictionaries and lambdas are generators. So I'm going to move on. Hopefully you guys kind of understand that. If you don't, there's going to be questions after. Please stay for some questions if you have any. And now that I'm here, what I want to do is say I want to create a, so let's read through this and figure out what this does, right? So we're going to go 1 through 7, right? And we're creating a new out variable. So this out variable is actually not well, it is because it's Python. So this out variable is created, and then every time this for loop is run, it goes through and it creates this new variable b, which is just what this is called is a nested for loop. And then this b variable, which we don't actually end up using, just goes 1 to a, and it adds a sort of asterisk to the output. So then we print out the output. So what's this going to look like? It's going to look like a triangle of asterisks, which is pretty cool. And if you wanted to say go to 100, you could just go to 100 and it creates a bunch of these sort of asterisks. But let's just change that back to 7. Okay. Now that we're talking about nested for loops, or for loops in general, let's talk about continue and break. This is something that I will use a lot, and I think we should, like, all the people in here should be familiar with. Continue is basically like so continue just goes to the beginning. So if I print this, it's going to print 0 and 2 because it never actually prints out 1 because it continues and goes back to the beginning of the for loop. But instead, if I had, say, break, it completely stops out of this for loop and it doesn't run it again. So that's a very big difference, and I use these a lot. So if you ever see that, that's what that means. Now, if I have a while loop, right, and I do while true, and I don't put a break in here, what this basically does is it continues running this program until it's done, right? So it keeps running this program until like something breaks or it's returned or something happens. But in this case, nothing happens, right? So I'm just going to stop that. Oh geez. Hold on. Yeah, that'll happen sometimes. If you have a break statement here, though, it should only run it one time because it just breaks it. So break and continue are exactly the same for and while. They just one takes you out and one puts you back to the beginning. So here's a hard challenge. I put the answer down here if you guys don't want to watch me do it, but essentially, if I were to try and write a program that prints all the primes between 1 and some number n, and I create this variable n, that's 1000, what I would do is start by creating a loop, right? Because that naturally, I would go while, oh, well, I have to keep track of where I'm at, right? So I'm going to create a variable called current, right? And if I want current to be less than n, while current is less than n, which only runs if this is true, we are going to have we're going to keep running until current is 1, right? So if I print out current like this, and then I say end is equal to space, right? This is just going to keep printing 1, right? But we don't want that. So if we do current plus equals 1, which is a operator in Python that just is the same as saying current is equal to current plus 1, but I prefer using this. You have now all the numbers between 0 and 999. So now that we have that, we're just going to say, is prime. We're going to create a Boolean variable, is prime, which can either be true or false, right? But to start out, we're going to say that prime is true because we're going to assume it's true. And then we're going to loop through the entire array, or until we get to n. And we're going to say that for I in range 1 to current, I'm going to say if current modulo I is equal to 0. So all modulo does is it just gets the remainder, and it basically so if like this was say 4 and this was 2, it would return 0. But if this was 3 and this was 2, it would return 1. Okay. So now that we have that, all we're going to say is just we're going to have is prime is equal to false, and then we're going to break out of the. So break only breaks out of the first for loop, right? We aren't breaking out of while, we're breaking out of for. So we don't have to check anymore. Okay. And at the end, we're going to say if is prime is equal to true, we're going to print current and end is equal to 0. So now we're going to say this. Oh, wait, what's wrong? Is there such a thing? 2 questions. 1, is there such a thing as an if statement? Yes, there is such a thing as an if statement. So if statements are, whoa, I didn't do it. My bad, I forgot if statements. But an if statement, basically, if this turns out to be true, we can have equal to, not equal to. You can have equal to, and then you can have and, which just says that something and this has to be true, and some other value has to be true, or false, right? So in most programming languages it's like and, but in Python it's you just type out the word and. And to mention so in Python tabs are actually like a requirement. You need to have tabs in the right spaces, or else the program won't run. For example, if I have this, it expected an indented block because there was an if statement right here. So now that when I rerun it, but we only get 1. So why are we only getting 1? Well, because everything is divisible by 1, right? So instead we need to start by 2, and we need to check up here if current is equal to 1, we just want to print 1. And we want to, and the end is equal to space, and then we want to, what? Continue. Right, we just want to go to the front. We don't want to break out of this loop. Okay? But we also forgot we need to increase current before we go to the next part. Now this should just print out all the primes between 0 and some arbitrary number n. See what happens. So in Python, false is not a variable. It has to be capitalized in Python. Yes. So to answer that question, is there such as an if statement? Yes. Okay. Yes. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. So now that we're on to now that we're done with this sort of example where we used for loops, while loops, continue, break, created variables, used a Boolean, you know, all this stuff. Hopefully you guys understand all of it. If not, there's going to be questions after. Let's move on to NumPy. So NumPy is a library in Python, which is basically the reason people use Python, is for the libraries, right? So if we were to start in something like C++, it wouldn't have as many like open source libraries. So here's a graph that oh wait, where's my graph? No, my graph. All right, I lost my graph, but essentially the Python open source libraries are very prevalent, and instead of having to rewrite code that's already been written, a bunch of people have already written code for Python that's optimized, and it is also it's also pre-written code, so you don't have to do it yourself. So we have things like NumPy, we have things like Pandas, Matplotlib, a bunch of different things. However, I think so there are a lot of people that believe Python's a slow language, and it is. It's interpreted and it's slow and it's clunky compared to something like C++ or something. But the main reason somebody would use Python over like C++ or JavaScript or something is the time to develop stuff. So Python, a bunch of stuff's pre-written with the libraries, and if you have a library that's already written, then that's hundreds of lines of code you don't have to write yourself. So for example, if we wanted to say create a random list of integers, a random list of Python is greater than everything else. I agree. So notice how I ran this cell first, and we haven't imported so we haven't yet imported NP in this environment. We need to import NumPy. So if we want to import a package, it has to be installed, and we just use the sort of import statement. And if we wanted to change the name of this, we say as. So if I were to not run this, NumPy would be its own variable, but I like saying NumPy is NP, just for reading. It's easier. And now that we've run this, we can create an array. So let's print out the array from a list. And as you can see, the array's there, and then this is of type array, which up here the list was the type was list. Where is that? Yeah, the type was list, which there's a big difference. Lists are, you don't need the same type. In arrays, you do need the same type. This is like a highly optimized version of Python that like was a library made specifically for stuff like this. So if I wanted a 2D row and column random number generated, like 5 row, 4 columns, what I would do is I would just say np.random.rand, and I would say row column. You can also do 3D arrays in Python, which is really cool, and we'll probably use later for in Matplotlib for graphing stuff. And there's something in NumPy that you can call to get the dimension of the array. So in this case, array 3D is 3, array 1D is 1, array 2D is 2. And there's also something in Python in NumPy called shape, where you can get a tuple of the shape that you have. So if you have like a 5D array and you don't know what the 5th or like the 4th or 3rd dimension is, you can just say shape, and then you can get, I don't know, 2 for the last dimension. You can get what dimension it is, which is super useful, and we will need that for making neural networks later. So let's talk about NumPy and how the array operations work. So if I were to print out here addition, right, what do you guys think would happen? Do you think it would be 10, 20, 30, and then 1, 2, 3? Or would it be 11, 21, 33? A or B? Shoot at me. All right. Very active chat. All right, let's go here. So now that we have, yes, thank you, AR. I agree. It will be 11, 22, 23. So operations in Python on arrays, if they're the same size, they just add to each other, which is different than a lot of other languages, and is a really fast way to sort of add stuff to sort of make operations. So now we have concatenate. So in order to put an array at the end of another one, you have to use the np.concatenate function, and you just put in an array of arrays, and it just puts one after the other. Which is normally what this does, but we changed it. So, or a Python changed that compared to something like JavaScript or C++. So if we do subtraction, it's the same way. It just subtracts these numbers. If we do multiplication, it multiplies these numbers. So we get 10, 40, 90. And if we do division, it divides these numbers and we just get 10 all around. Right? So if we wanted to do scalar underscore addition, it treats these as vectors, which if you don't know what that is, it doesn't matter. But essentially what it does is it allows you to add 2 to every index of the array, or subtract at sort of every index of the array, or multiply the entire array by 2, etc. I think you get the point. So let's talk about importing stuff. So if you have a class or something in the same folder as the Pi notebook, you can use the file name to import that class. So if I had like a file like my notebook, and then I had my class, we can import whatever's in here by just using the file name, which is useful and we'll probably use later. And if you want to access something in that file like a class, you have to call this, or you can use from example class import stuffs, import example for this example. and it does the same sort of thing. Now that we've kind of introduced Python and NumPy and everything, which is fantastic, we love that. Now that you kind of know how to use Python, we have for the next lecture, we're going to be talking about pandas. If you want to get ahead and you want to see some of the resources that I've gone ahead and given to you guys, we can see pandas compared to SQL, other pandas comparisons, and a video that's 20 minutes long. That's an intro to pandas that I think will explain it a lot better than I ever could in 20 minutes. So yeah, if you want to get ahead, please do that. We won't be talking just about pandas. We will be graphing stuff in pandas. So we're going to be using something called Matplotlib, where you can do awesome visualizations. So let's go to some examples. So you can create scatter graphs and stuff like that in Python. And I hope to see you guys in the next lecture. If you guys have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask. That's it for today. I don't think I have any other stuff to say. Of course, thank you for coming in here, AR. I appreciate it. Additionally, you can browse. Oh yes, so there's a bunch of links at the bottom of the YouTube video where you can browse. This link, the third link, is the actual repository home, which has all of our resources. If you want to see what I'm working on, you can always go to my branch by just clicking here and going to my branch. And then if you have something like, say, what is it? If you wanted to go look at some awesome links, you can go in here. Cole has put a bunch of links together. Oh, thank you, Jordan, for showing up. I appreciate it. Of course, I love this stuff. I hope you guys are just as excited about this as I am. I hope I can help you guys be better programmers and become become an absolute multi-monitor Chad right here, doing some graphs and stuff, programming, all that jazz. And yeah, let's see, January 19th. Yes, I am live every Monday at 6:30 p.m. I will be uploading a edited video by Wednesday, at least by the end of the day. When I upload the video, I will send it to the Discord, which the link to the Discord is on the bottom here. So join the community, start making some awesome machine learning stuff. And I think, yeah, there's documentation for Python, Pandas, Matplotlib down here. This is the data set we're going to be using next time. If you want to go download that, I have it inside of here as well, so train and test. But next week we will be using data sets. This was just an introduction, sort of test to see, this was kind of just an introduction. And if you guys have any suggestions for how to improve this stream, please let me know. I really want to make this as sort of easy to understand and sort of accessible to pretty much anybody. I can't do, unfortunately, live closed captions. However, the closed captions will be generated when I upload the video, if you cannot hear. And yeah, if there's any questions, please let me know in chat. I'm just going to be sitting here kind of waiting. I'm on here till 7:30, so if you guys have any questions, or if you guys want to meet me, I'll be in the Discord. Let's see. I'm going to join the Discord if you guys have any questions. I'm in the discussion room. Climb aboard, get ready to explore. Yep, just sitting there doing some stuff. So I guess while we're here, if you guys are still here, if there's no questions, Misty has a question. Oh wait, let me see. Can you repeat what ARR 032 is? Yes, so let's go up here. So Misty, so basically what this does is it selects, so 03 selects this part of the array, right? So, but what this does, this third sort of variable or number, which by the way, these can be variables as well. They don't have to be numbers. It just gets so it gets the first one, and then it does 1, 2, and then it gets the next one. So if I had, say, 4, 5, it would say 1, skip 3, skip 5. So this would be 1, 3, 5. Does that make more sense? Let me see. What would happen if you wrote an index out of range? So there is no index out of range in Python. Python does this thing where if you go out of range, like over the range, it just goes to the beginning, which is a really cool thing that they programmed in there. Of course, yes. Of course. Again, if you guys have any questions, please let me know. I'm all ears, or eyes, because I'm kind of reading it right now. So. Let's just go like that. Yeah. Again, I'm here till 7:30. If you guys have any questions, give me a holler. So yeah. I may as well do a how to install Anaconda now. So here, let me go here. So if you go up and you download the notebook and you click install Anaconda, it's going to take you to a place like this. You're going to download it. I already have it, so I don't need to do that. And then you're going to go over here, go over to your File Explorer, Downloads, and then run the installer. And then do all the defaults, and then once that's installed, you go and open up Anaconda here, which will start a bunch of stuff. Oh, here it is. All right, let's go here. We're gonna say we're gonna launch. So you can do something like Jupyter Notebook, where it launches it basically this on your local computer. So let me see. Did it launch? Okay. So it's going to open up something like this, and you can see all your documents. So if I wanted to go like here, and open up this one. There you go. Now we have all this stuff. All right, so that's how you install Anaconda and use it. You can use Jupyter Lab. I will probably start using Visual Studio Code just because that's my preferred method of using Jupyter. Here. So if you wanted to open it up in Visual Studio Code, you need to install this extension, Jupyter Notebook. As you can see, it's from Microsoft, 28 million downloads, just to show you guys how popular these tools are. You just install this, and then you can go here to View, Command Palette, and you can type, if that's not showing up, you can just start typing Jupyter, and then create Jupyter Notebook, or you can open file, and select your file. And that's about it. Any questions? Any questions? How was your guys' day? This was basically my day today. The entire day. I was trying to get all this figured out. But now that this is over, can't wait for next week. Next week's going to be a lot more in depth. Yeah, let's go to full cam. All right. Again, I'm here till 7:30. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Hey, look at that. Oh, look at all these subscribers on the right. We love seeing that. Ooh, subscriber goal ended 3 hours ago. That's my bad. Whoops. Stream health, analytics. Again, thank you guys for coming. And if you're still here, I appreciate you guys. This took a lot of work. There's going to be a recording uploaded Wednesday. I hope you guys check that out too. I'm going to add some editing, post-processing stuff. So, yeah. Oh, looks like we're almost done. We got 10 more minutes. So I guess while I'm here, I'm just going to play some Flappy Bird. God damn it. If you guys have any questions, let me know. If y'all made it here, thank you for coming. Appreciate it. I actually dog water at this game, so I don't know why I chose this game, but it was a game that was going through my mind, so. Rip. Oh. Let's go to here. Here, I guess I'll talk about some of these shortcuts. Let me take you guys through the, I guess, Jupyter runtime. You just have there's an outline here. The way I do the outlines, you can go straight to parts of the file you need to find. There's for loops, all this jazz. Let's see what we went over today. Python. You can see, code snippets. This is kind of like documentation, I guess, or stuff you can do in Python, in Jupyter Notebook. These are all your files. One of the bad things about using Jupyter Notebook is that every time you create a new environment, Jupyter Notebook, the files in here are deleted, which is a reason you guys should probably use some sort of local environment, but I will be doing it so you don't even need to have the file on your computer. It's just going to be a link, so it's not going to be really an issue. But if you guys were to do this in your own time using your own data sets, that's what I would suggest. And let me go here. Who all's in here? Let's see. Yeah, I'm here till 7:30. So let me know. I think this is pretty wild. Look at all these companies that use that. Look at that. Even the CIA uses it. Oh wait. Even the CIA uses Python. My bad. Uses Python. Oh, don't clip that. Whoever's in here. So yeah, Google is actually one of the biggest users of this. They make a lot of the open source software we're going to use, like TensorFlow. I think they have a lot of developers working on SciPy, Pandas. All the stuff we're going to use in here is mainly Google. Yeah, I just wanted to... Instagram, Trivago. Yeah, I don't even know what this is. Is that Harvard? Interesting. Oh, all right. Looks like we're about down to one viewer, and it's probably me. So I think I'm gonna end stream here. Hope you guys enjoyed. If there's anybody in here, I appreciate you coming. I'll see you next Monday at 6:30. Adios.